Geocachamaniacs.
Geo Gearheads.
Well, welcome. We're stuck on our title slide. There we are. Hey, now you can see us. Hey, and this is really good for audio. Hey, welcome to Geo Gearheads. This is episode 420. And we are talking about road caching. In fact, this is the 17th time we've talked about road caching. And you know, road caching has changed slightly over the years, rendering it even more interesting than it was before. Hey, if you're new to Geo Gearheads, welcome. This is a weekly show about geocaching and geolocation games. I'm Chris of the Northwest, along with our host, Daryl W4. Daryl, say hi to the people.
Hi, people.
See, Daryl is so obedient. And we also have Joshua. You know, Joshua, you need no introduction, but I'm going to introduce you anyway.
Well, thank you.
You are the geocaching vlogger.
That's me. Good to be back, guys. It's been a minute since I've been on the Geo Gearheads podcast, but glad to be here.
It has been so long, and I have no idea how that even happened, because it's been March of 2018 was the last time you were on.
Wow. A lot has happened since then. So hopefully I have some road stories for you today.
I'm sure you have more than enough good road stories for us. And I also can't believe it's been almost a year since we last talked about road caching.
I mean, nearly to the day.
Yeah, it was January 18th. And I was, I don't remember if I actually caught part of one of your shows or just got a mention of it. But you were back in, why can't I not remember the city? Hamburg?
Hanover. Back in Hanover, Germany.
Yes. And it was like, yeah, you know what? It's been way too long since we've talked about road caching, and I can't think of a better guest to kick that off again than Joshua, the geocaching vlogger.
Glad to be back, guys. Thanks for having me on.
And I almost thought about doing the Mayberry Man introduction this time, too.
You could do that, and then I could bring out a little nip it in the bud.
How long has it been since you actually gone by Mayberry Man, though?
Oh, it's been a long, long time. I think I switched it when geocaching.com officially allowed you to switch your name. I'm guessing that would be like maybe 2012. So I think I've been the geocaching blogger on the website for at least like eight years.
Yeah, it would have to be, because I think the first time we actually met in person, you were already the geocaching vlogger, and that was back in the Geo Woodstock that we went to, Chris, in St. Louis. Do you remember which one that was?
9, 10, 11.
10 or 11?
11.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
So that gives us an idea of
I say
roughly
11. It's authoritative, and we move on.
Okay.
That was a fun one, though, right by the river. I remember that.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
I really enjoyed that one.
I really like the layout of that one.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of what I like is what some people didn't like, which is use the city. Well, the town.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't stick around quite as much as some of the other ones, which is what a lot of people didn't like. But I thought it was a lot more fun to get to investigate the city.
Yeah. Geocachers love to go geocaching, right?
Yeah. Well, and check out cool sites in the city and everything. And that's one of the reasons why we like the road caching.
Of course.
Now, one of the things that you've done that most of us haven't, and probably will never do, is actually go on like geocaching trips. Like, we're not talking about a cruise ship that has a geocaching population. We're talking about a geocaching group renting motor coaches and going out there.
Yes. One of the most unique geocaching experiences that I've ever encountered was getting on a bus with 37 Germans and for 10 days and exploring the Pacific Northwest all the way down to the ET Highway and back up through Utah and doing the full loop. That was unlike anything maybe I'll ever experience again. Just first of all, a coach bus, but literally a full coach bus full of German cashers. Me being the only American, that was quite an experience. That's for sure.
How was your German at the end of that trip?
It's kind of funny.
They're good.
Yeah, sehr gut. It's kind of funny that you asked that because I don't speak German. I can say a few phrases, but it's interesting because if you sit in a bus listening to a certain language for 10 days straight, your ears just start to tune. And I was pretty certain of everything that was being discussed around me without even knowing the language. It was really interesting how I think my brain started to tune into what was actually happening around me. And it was mostly geocaching conversation, so that helped.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I find German is one of the easier languages to listen to and understand.
Yes.
Just because they take a lot of little words and keep putting them together until they end up with the word they want. And it's, it could be 18 to 20 syllables long, but
Yeah. So yeah, my ears got tuned to German, but I still can't speak it even after visiting Germany twice in the last 2 years and being on a bus with a bunch of Germans for 10 days.
So are you still wanting sausages and spätzle?
Yeah, I am. I have a daily craving now of the
good bratwurst.
The currywurst is the thing.
Yeah.
No bun, just the meat and nice curry sauce on it. That's the delicacy that I kind of fell in love with these last 2 summers.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. So there you go. There's some road caching tips. Get in a bus full of people you don't know and whose language you don't really understand and go geocaching. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? Really? And I did actually write down, because I knew that maybe I'd be talking about this. I wrote down some of the real pluses to going on a bus with 37 geocachers and a small list of things that maybe are a little bit, not pluses.
Well, and as I recall, regular food stops were not an option on some of those trips.
That was true. That was one thing that really surprised me, is that the priority these people are diehards, right? The fact that they decided to take 10 days out of their life to hang out with primarily strangers, and their goal, in another country, their goal was geocaching. So they would literally in the morning stop at the Walmart, get some food for the day, and then we were not stopping. The geocaching all day, and I was just asking, well, when are we going to stop to eat? Are we going to stop at that Subway? Or are we going to stop at nope, we're caching. So we only ate at a sit down place in the evening, but because caching was certainly the priority.
It reminds me of some of the power caching trips I've been on.
Oh yes, yeah. So imagine a power caching trip, but the one negative of going on a coach bus, and maybe this is true for cruises too, I've never done a geocaching cruise, was that you do sacrifice a little bit of freedom, because you were at the mercy of wherever the bus is going at that time.
Though I feel the same way if I'm in a larger group doing a power caching run too.
This is true. 37 people, that's a lot of people, but luckily those 37 people had many of the same goals. And that was the real cool thing. When I went into this trip, it was with Cacher Reisen, which is a German touring group, geocaching touring group. I got a full itinerary of what every day would look like and a list of every single geocache that we were stopping at. So everybody knew what they were getting into each day. So there wasn't too much. There was a little bit like, oh, what about this cache? Nope, we don't have time. These are our priorities. We're going to get those Jasmer fillers.
There you go. Hey, we have a question in the chat from C. Michelle that says, how did it go with 30 geocachers looking at one ground zero, looking for one cache?
Honestly, that did not happen very often, because many of the caches we went to were some of those oldies, like GC12, GC17, and as you can imagine, when you have that many people, there is a variety of speeds for hiking. So you'll have those quicker people get up there to the cache first. Once they find it, they're heading their way back down the trail back to the bus. So it was amazing how spread out spread out we were, just because as you know, I'm sure, Chris, you've probably done a few of those hikes. They're pretty far hikes, and you get pretty spread out by that time. So by the time you get to GZ, it's like 4 people at the cache at a time. So that actually was never really an issue.
Okay.
Except when we were at the original stash plack. That was
yeah.
That was a party.
There's not a lot of room there for a tour bus.
No. And if anybody who's never been there before, you're literally on the side of a road.
Right. You're on the shoulder of a road on a bend. There's no place to park. Yeah.
It will be really interesting when those community celebration events for the original stash are taking place in May. How crowded that side of that road will be.
Yes. GSM times 2 says, I bet it was very organized in a German manner.
Of course, very just tons of lists. That's all lists as far as you can see, and not only lists, but because I did this last summer. You guys maybe know that I got to tour with them down to Brazil to the original, down to the 8 cache down in Brazil.
Nice.
And so many of them were so old school that they were actually still had binders filled with paper, handwriting answers to things. So like old school, like trapper keepers. And I was like, whoa, that's impressive. Paper.
Right.
So list, paper, the full 9 yards, organized.
Well, Joshua, that actually makes a lot of sense when you're traveling internationally, because you may or may not have a data connection available on your phone at a reasonable price. So if you have it all printed out and you write it down, you can go log it, back at a hotel. Or I assume this is a question people are thinking about but haven't asked yet. The bathroom situation. I mean, was it, we've got 5 minutes, everybody grab a stall because we're moving in 5 minutes.
Yeah, the bathroom situation. So there was a bathroom on the back of the bus.
Okay. And
with most of these touring buses, there's always this maybe unspoken agreement that number 2 is only for emergencies and number 1 is just fine. So usually we're stopping at somewhere where like a Walmart or a McDonald's. But you could. There was a bathroom inside our coach bus, so that was no problem.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, what a relief! What a relief! No pun intended.
Cell says, "Oops, the bathroom equals lots of trees at Grand Zero."
Just be careful where you step.
One of the things that came up when I was thinking about this, though, how weird was it for you, who's normally the one who plans all of your, or at least most of your cache outings, to just kick back and follow someone else's plan?
It was actually quite pleasant. Because, again, Chris, you've done some of these hikes. Like, we were doing a lot of hiking almost every day. And so it was such a pleasure to literally go on a 2-mile, 4-mile hike, go find a cache, get back in a bus, take a nap. Take a nap. I wasn't talk about road caching. I wasn't doing any driving. Had my own little seat. Took a nap. Oh, they woke me up. Oh, now it's time to go hike out to another cache. It was really a pleasure and a delight to not have to worry about driving, not to worry about directions, not to worry about where the trailhead was, not worry about where to park. The Cache Horizon trip really took a lot of that out of my hands. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of weird, but it was very pleasant. And also just, the bus driver had done this trip 2 times already. So he already trip. Yeah, they Cache Horizon requested the same bus driver because the bus driver just fell in love with the German group before. So when it came time again, because they do it every October, when it came time again, they requested the same bus driver who is driving. We're driving to Potter's Pond. I don't know if you've ever been there, but this is like a coach bus on a very narrow, like rocky dirt road up the mountains. And so they wanted to ensure that we're going to have a bus driver that's brave enough to take their coach bus up that mountain when it's literally snow up there in October. So Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is impressive.
That was cool.
That is impressive. How long were the days? I mean, are you, 12 hours in and out of a bus, or 14, 16, 18?
I'd have to remember. I think they varied. They got up very early and they left very prompt. So I would say we were out of there driving away about 7 in the morning.
Oh,
And we were probably
later than I thought, actually.
What's that? Later than you thought?
Later than I thought. I was thinking, if you said 4, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, I think they were willing to get up maybe a little bit later, but just because they could just nap on the bus all day if we had a long stretch of road. But I'd say we were up by 7, and then usually, depending on how far the hotel was or the next destination, we were maybe rolling into our hotel about 9 p.m. at night. So I'd say they were about 12 to 14-hour days. They were very full.
Which, if you do that in the Northwest or anywhere on the northern part of North America during the summer, you get some long days of 16 hours of light.
Yes,
so that's very doable.
Yeah, it was great. One of the highlights too, now that I remember, is that we did the ET Highway with the coach bus, which was just really, it was just almost comical. We were not able to do a ton of them, so some people went to a real oldie, and other people decided, you know what, I'm just gonna, the bus stops, and they just say we're just gonna keep walking and just caching until we run out of time, and then the bus went and picked them up on the other side. So that was kind of cool too to have.
Interesting.
Yeah, so they were able, some people were able to get probably in a couple hours, 50 to 60 caches. And not like most people do the ET Highway. They drive. Right. If somebody runs out, this was like, we're just going to walk 4 miles one direction and get picked up by the bus.
Well, I mean, that makes sense. That really does make sense, rather than having to walk out and walk back. That's always the thing of these power trails is, well, if I go do 4 miles of a power trail, I've got to walk back 4 miles with nothing to do.
Right. And it would be silly to have like everybody sitting in the bus with one person running out to the to the caches it's every 10th of a mile. So yeah,
you find a couple of fast people, and
there you go,
with cache, and the other one runs forward to the next one.
Yeah, that might have been a good strategy, but I think it would have been a little
7 people. You can cycle through.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I've heard of trips on the ET Highway with minivans. And they say, make sure you get a minivan that you can drive with the side door open.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's totally smart.
And they're just in and out, swapping containers and running on. And,
Yeah. I've seen great videos on YouTube of people doing that, sped up or whatever, doing 100 caches. And yeah, I don't have a lot of interest in like doing that, of getting, hundreds. I was glad enough just to experience to see what it was like. That was enough for me. I think I got maybe 10 on the ET Highway, which is kind of, you tell people that, you're like, you're kidding me. You were out there and you only got 10. Well, hey, it was the experience. It wasn't the numbers for me.
Right.
And if I remember, what they had done was you could do more of the ET Highway, or you could go off and do the better caches, we will say.
Yeah.
Off-road.
There's a real oldie out there. There was a Jasmer filler that I needed out there, so I decided to hike to that. And it is, the desert out there. It has its own beauty to it. It was really beautiful out there. And I think we were there mid-October, so it was lovely. It was probably maybe 80 degrees. It was a good time. Kicking the tumbleweed out there.
Yeah, and you definitely don't want to do that one in the summer.
No. And you don't want to do it alone either. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you are in the middle of nowhere. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've probably never felt like I was more secluded from any sort of civilization than when I did that.
And how many numbers of civilizations? I mean, if you look up, who knows what kind of contact you could make out there? This
is true. So true.
Says ancient alien theorist.
Yeah, totally.
What's their phrase on that show? I don't watch it enough, but anyway.
That one doesn't ring a bell to me.
Yeah,
Not
ancient
me
aliens.
either.
They refer to themselves as a group anyway. Now I completely lost what I was saying. So Daryl, what do you want to talk about?
Oh, what don't I want to talk about? Well, actually, why don't we totally change gears and head back over to Germany with some of the awesome caches over there.
Okay.
And you've been there several times now.
Been there twice.
Only twice? I was
Only twice. And
Wow.
you know, it may seem, on my videos, it may seem like I'm there longer than I actually am, but that's
just probably true.
All the magic of YouTube. So literally, this tells you the saturation of amazing caches, because the first time I went there, I was there for 10 days and I got 22 video. I made 22 videos out of those 10 days. And then the second time I was there for a week and I got another 20 videos out of that. So, you know, we're talking, and usually I put out one video a week. So that's 40 weeks. That's 40 weeks of videos. So
that's why it seems like you've been there so often.
Exactly. So, yeah, I've only been there 17 days in the last 2 years. So even though it seems like I've been there way longer than that, but yes, but that just tells you, I mean, if you had a chance to see any of those videos, just the quality level is on another plane. You know,
well, it seems to be a very different style of cacher and caching in the country as a whole.
Right.
But how much of the country did you get to see outside of, you know, that one little area?
Not much, because, you know, Daniel Flieger, who is the owner of not only Cache Horizon of the touring company, he's also owner of Geheimpunkt, which is actually a geocaching business company that works with businesses within the Hanover area. So the main reason I was over there was to highlight the city and highlight some of his caches. So, I mean, you could spend days. I mean, I was there well over 2 weeks, and I didn't even scratch the surface on the videos that I could make or the caches I could find. So I was in that area, but I also got to spend one day in Berlin, which of course has one of the most favorited caches. I think the most favorited cache in the world, which is that giraffe at the Lego place, the Lego giraffe. So I had to go there. And then this summer, I got to do a very unique geo tour that they put out, where it was a rail bike system. So you have these bikes that are created for the for old railroad bed, and there's geocaches all along the railroad bed. And the geo tour ends with like kind of a train station that has been kind of recreated by a geocacher. For a geocacher at the very end as the final. So it was speaking about road caching, maybe this is a different show, but it was more like trail caching, as not trail caching, track caching.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, track caching with these really unique bikes that were made just for the railroad bed. It was really cool.
Yeah, the Velopedes, I think, is what they were called here in the U.S.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they just call them rail bikes there.
Yeah, I think they're a little different version than what we had over here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Had the chance to ride them.
I don't know if the width of the tracks are different, like because it's metric, or I'm sure they are.
Well, typically not, actually.
Oh, really?
A little bit of trivia is it's all based on the Roman chariots.
Only you would know that, Daryl. That's impressive.
Width of 2 horses.
Yeah, basically.
Have you ever just thought about trying out for Jeopardy, Daryl?
No.
Daryl, could you put that in the form of a question, please? What is the width of 2 horses, Alex?
Well, and the fun part of that was part of one of those things I learned back in high school, actually. And the way it was phrased is, why are the solid rocket boosters, you know, this dimension? And it comes back to, that's the width of the rail tunnel, because that's the width of the road bed, which was because of the Roman chariots.
Interesting. Learn something new every day.
Yeah. So, but yeah, there's multiple gauges of railroads, including, I think it was in Australia, they had one that was like 7 or 8 feet wide.
Wow.
So it was really, really tough for the thing to make turns.
I'm sure.
But then you get the little ones.
Michelle could verify that for us.
Yeah. You want to run out and go and measure the railroad and let us know?
We'll wait.
But yeah, there's all kinds of little like 2-foot gauge railroads that they used for like mining and whatnot as well.
Mm-hmm.
And there's actually a little saddle tank steam locomotive in one of the train stations over here that was used to build the interstates. They actually laid the 2-foot gauge track down and used that train to build the interstate highway before they had good trucks, basically.
Wow.
All kinds of cool, weird locomotive stuff like that. And you'll find a lot of those turned into, a lot of those like logging railroads turned into trail systems up in the north parts of the U.S.
That's so cool. It was interesting that they, a lot of railroad beds here in the United States have turned into bike trail, just playing out bike trails. So it was really interesting that they decided to just keep the rails and just add these rail bikes instead. I'm sure there's somewhere in the United States where they have this sort of same setup, but I don't know of any. It was very unique. It was a very unique experience.
Well, the Ape Cache here in Washington State, that was a rail tunnel that has been converted to a path.
Yeah.
No rail.
Right.
That would be awesome to be able to ride the rail bikes through there.
Oh, definitely.
That would be cool.
Oh, and totally off subject. Have you seen the little track speeders?
Are we talking like Star Wars speeders?
No. They're little motorized carts. I think of it as like a go-kart for train tracks. So two people sit side by side with essentially like a lawnmower engine.
Wow.
Those are so much fun. And they actually do have some of the Seema says 5'3" is the widest of the track gauges out there.
Wow, that was really quick for him to go out there and measure that for us.
Yeah. Well, he lives right next door to it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
So little do we know, he actually has one of the old train stations that has become his home. Anyway, so yeah, there's all these little track speeders that they'll take out on some of the rails and do like whole weekends where they literally go. I think the max range on these things is only like 20 or 30 miles, but they'll literally like take. I think it was like 40 or 50 that I saw in one of them. All go out to this one field, camp overnight. They pick up the track speeders, turn them around, and then go back the other way the next day. So that's their weekend camping trip.
Wow, that sounds like fun. That's cool.
Sorry, I had to throw that up. My shell has a sore jaw from chewing.
Yeah, the sounds are optional though.
Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't resist. So they take these little. Now, is it legal to put these on a railroad track? Is the speeders railroad tracks privately owned?
Well, in Germany, I think all the railroad lines are government owned.
Oh, we're still in Germany.
I think so.
Okay,
but here, they usually make a deal with the railroad. And like when I was working with the train group out here, the track that we used was owned by the state of Michigan because the companies abandoned it, and then they maintain and leased it to another company who only ran really during the week. So we just had to work with them to get access to the line.
In case you want to know, you can do that in Idaho on some of the abandoned railways.
That sounds like
I wouldn't doubt that.
Yeah. They look like go-karts.
Yes. Yeah, very much.
Here, should I share a screen?
Yeah, sure.
Let's see if it's this one.
This is an awesome diversion.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a little
what? They kind of look like okay, yeah. They look very similar to the ones I pedaled. Like very similar to the ones I pedaled. Because you do sit side by side with someone. You're pedaling together in Germany. But yeah, but the ones we didn't have a roof over the top. But that's pretty
So
cool.
they must be more like this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, more like that. But 2 people next to each other.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
And I do have a 360 that I did during a ride in Toledo, actually, on my YouTube channel, I think. So if someone wants to check that out, they are noisy little things, though.
I bet.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke. I mean, they would seem it. I mean, they're just, open sides. And if you've got a lawnmower engine that close to you, I mean, it's loud when you mow your lawn. So that looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm going to Utah next. Wouldn't it be cool if you could do the Utah Geo Tour all on those little, all those little real bikes?
What if we set up a power trail along there?
Yeah, exactly. Could get that. That was the thing that was really cool though about the Geo Tour is that the caches were right. I mean, they weren't hidden; they were birdhouses all along the way.
Okay.
So there wasn't like a ton of creativity to it, but you could knock it out pretty quick. Although it was I think 12 miles one way and 12 miles back. So there was no loop or anything. You had to. There
you go. That's what I've seen with an outrigger on it.
There you go.
Kind of an outrigger.
Yeah. See, this is the one that I was thinking of. It's like a veloped or something like that is the name, but these things. You don't pedal with your feet so much as you pull and push with your arms.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a pumping action on the handlebars there.
I'm going to see if I can pull up a picture of...
Yeah, I'd love to see it, actually, if you have it.
Of me and Daniel on the bikes together. Let me just pull up my Instagram here if I could find it.
We have some great questions in the chat.
Let's hear them.
We've got one from Francis. This is a traveling caching question. What small tot can you take with you on a plane when you fly? Mostly wondering about tweezers and path tags. Well, I wouldn't think you'd want to. Well, I wouldn't see a problem with a telescoping mirror or telescoping magnetic retrieval tool. That shouldn't be a problem. Tweezers shouldn't be a problem.
Well, it depends on the tweezers because I know some tweezers have been getting confiscated.
Have they?
Yeah. So if it's like the sharp tweezers, like especially the ones that you use for typically getting splinters out, those have been getting confiscated, as I understand.
Interesting. I don't think path tags are a problem. I mean,
no, but that's not a tool of trade
of them. Yeah. Caching Dead seems to agree with me. I wouldn't think path tags would be a problem.
Yeah. One time I took a ton of path tags in my carry-on, and they literally dumped all of them, all of the path tags, all my coins, everything out into a bin, and it took me forever to put them all back together again.
Oh,
it was very annoying.
Well, Bounce had the same thing. Had to pour out all my path tags so they could make sure nothing was hiding in them.
Yeah, I had the same thing happen to me. I think it was on my way back from Geo Woodstock where I just I had a ton of trades.
Mm-hmm.
I got a picture here of the rail bike. Let's see if I can share it here.
Hang on, I got to turn off mine. Go ahead.
Okay.
I thought that was it. I was like, wow, that's impressive.
Yeah. Wait, here we go.
That's a rail racer that I found. And I just think that would be one of the most enjoyable power trail vehicles.
There you go. Yeah. Well, it doesn't look easy to get in and out of.
Well, I'm thinking you just leave the canopy open.
Oh, there you go. C. Michelle said I had to empty a heap of path tags into a container to go through the scanner. So that apparently is a real thing.
I'm sure.
Can you guys see the picture?
No. Did you hit the share screen in the bottom there?
Oh, no, not yet.
Okay.
Share. Here we go. See it?
Now we got it.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're both clicking on it. Ooh, look at that.
So
can
you see the person doing all the work?
Well, they look almost like mopeds, but they're pedal power with
I know.
really tiny wheels.
I know, but I find this picture humorous as I am just surfing along as Daniel, with his shirt off, completely exhausted, is doing all the work.
So what you're saying is you had a great trip.
It was a great trip.
Daniel blacked out after that.
Yeah, it was a good time. A good time. And this is actually not a photo. This is a screenshot from a video. So I actually set my video camera on the track, and the rail bike is going right over my camera in about a couple of seconds here.
Not Josh, the Seabeck tribe. He doesn't believe you would do anything like that.
I wouldn't do anything like that.
Oh, we are in such a rat hole now. Take a look at this bike. Hey, God. All right. Well, it's not technically a bike, but how's that for a power cache vehicle?
Oh, there you go. That's easy in and out.
Easy in and out. You've got two people, so one can do the run out to the cache while the other one continues to casually pedal, and then it's going to be a fast return ride.
Hey, Daryl, if we put the caches right under the rail, you could just put a board across the top of that and have somebody lean over and they can grab the cache. And
I'm thinking just have them hanging from trees.
Oh, there you go. Right over the tracks.
Right.
This is not great. Sorry for the audio listeners, because I encourage you to go to YouTube and watch this, because we're showing some incredible pictures of rail bikes.
That's right.
And real go-karts. But
and that looked just like a go-kart, really.
Yeah, it did. A very unique way to cache. Here's the only thing that I didn't like about them was it wasn't a double track. So we would meet other rail bikes
and we'd have to hop off.
We'd have to hop off, lift these things, and let me tell you, these things were not light. Lift them off the track, let the person pass, and then lift it back and put it back on the rails. So that was not super convenient. But yeah.
See, on that rail bike with that one outrigger wheel, you could just lean it over, right? And let the other person pass the other way.
Right. Everybody lean to the right. Much. Lean to the right. Oh, there's one with a whole family.
Yeah, this is they actually have these tours apparently in Rhode Island that you get to ride those bikes. They're not bikes, these pedal powered track speeders.
Right.
I'll call them that.
So a listener in these areas, if you're listening right now, you need to start Googling rail bikes to see if one is in your area. And then you need to contact your Chamber of Commerce and figure out how you can get a geo tour, because we need one of these in the United States, because it was a really cool experience.
Oh, I wholeheartedly concur. This is a must. We got to figure out how to make this happen.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Especially if they've got the cool lightweight ones that we can more easily get off the track when we need to.
Yes, or do it on a track that has a double track on it.
Yeah. Yeah, bidirectional would be preferred.
That would be sweet. That'd be awesome.
Well, Daryl, there's a whole rail riding community not too far from me.
Oh, really?
It opens May 16th through October 4th.
There you go.
Well, and I wonder if that's one of those ones that actually picked up a section of abandoned right-of-way.
It's a 2-hour, 13-mile round trip. Tickets are $26 per guest.
Uh-huh.
The track treks through lush forest, crossing over winding Goldsboro Creek. Ferns and moss majestically skirt the tracks. Great fun for all ages.
Wow.
Well, it's a good thing it's majestic.
Just right.
If it wasn't, I wouldn't go.
I might have to do. Well, this summer's going to be busy. I might have to do this next year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the videos from it.
Oh, Seabeck Tribe found it as well.
Yeah, the rail bike in Washington does know that there's any caches along it.
I wonder if the tracks are considered private property, or if geocaching.com still considers it geocache placed too close to a track.
As long as it's not active.
I guess
that's a good question. And one of the problems that I've run into on some of the caches in earlier days is the right-of-ways that were in use by short line railroads weren't listed as active railroads in the maps that geocaching.com used. So we actually had a couple of caches placed like immediately next to active right-of-ways.
Interesting. Yeah.
And
So
the worst part is typically the railroads run right about the times that the cachers were going to be out hunting it.
yeah. So you got to wonder if those the maps that our reviewers are seeing and the tools that they have are completely up to date when it comes to railroads.
Yeah, well, and a lot of these railroads, who actually expects them to be operating? It's
right.
Little short lines that go out into the woods, and a lot of those get their revenue from little tour things. Like the one that I'm thinking of, they did a lot of the dinner trains.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So it runs very, very slowly at night. They didn't do a whole lot of track maintenance because, well, track maintenance is difficult and expensive. So you go slowly, and it's it's just a nice casual ride with dinner and occasionally a mystery.
Cool.
Wow, we've been talking for over 40 minutes and
mostly about rail bikes. So should we change the name of the show from road caching to
railroad? Yeah, it's railroad caching.
Track caching 1.
Off track. How's that?
There we go. Another cool thing, if you want to chat a little bit more about the bus trip, was something that I didn't think about or anticipate was the amount of teamwork. When you have 37 geocachers all in a close proximity of each other, you can be helping each other solve puzzles and sharing answers to the Earth cache that you just viewed. You're like, oh, what a beautiful view. Did somebody get the answers? Oh, good. We can all get back in the bus and keep moving. So that was pretty nice to not have to wait for all 37 people to get the answers to a particular cache. That just kept things moving. So it just really felt like power caching to the max. That's for sure.
But everyone still has to log everything.
Of course. I mean, hey, you pay that ticket to fly over here and the bus and 10-day trip. But our European friends, they get so much more vacation than us, so I don't feel too bad about that.
That's how you're spinning it, huh? No.
Yeah, they certainly do get more vacation than us. They do.
So if someone were to go on one of these caching bus trips, do you have any tips for them that might help them figure out even what to ask?
What to ask, like before they go on the trip?
Exactly. Because each trip, I imagine, is going to be very different.
Yeah.
But what are some of the things that would have been helpful for you to know before you started?
I guess it would have been helpful to know if I had somewhere to do laundry. I packed enough stuff for 10 days because I wasn't sure, and there wasn't really, I'd had a place to do laundry, even at some of the hotels that we went to. So I guess I really want to know, what should I pack? And but the cool thing is Cache Rising. I mean, they're pros at this. They know they've done the same trips multiple times. They know exactly what you should bring. They tell you it's like you're going to summer camp. They have the full list of here's all the stuff that you should bring. Here's all the stuff you should consider. I was not prepped and prepared very well for as far as some of the caches in between the caches. So we had a list of all our priority caches, but the other people on the bus trip had some of the in between stops. So there'd be times where there'd be a cache that somebody really wanted, and they nudge the bus driver, they nudge the person on the trip. They're like, hey, this might be a good time. This might be a good time to go to the restroom. So I all I had was the list of the Jasmer caches and all the priority caches, but everybody else had full full list of all the in between things. So, and I don't know if it might have helped me that I didn't know what I was missing, because I think it might have been more frustrating if I would have had my eye on a cache and then not had the opportunity to stop or
Sure.
visit the cache either. But yeah, I pretty much knew everything I needed to bring. Of course, because I'm vlogging, I'm well prepared for SD cards and batteries. And
I was going to say power. You were the guy to charge a cell phone from.
Yes. They're cool. The bus had, I mean, every seat of this coach bus had a plug-in, had a USB plug-in. I could plug in 2 different things, so there was plenty of power all the time. Yeah, I would say just prepare to. I mean, this sounds cheesy, but prepare to have a great time, and because the details, all the details were all take care of ahead of time.
And the driver was fine going to these remote locations and stopping for who knows how long.
Yeah, he had done it before. So I think this is the 3rd time he did it. His name was Dave, and everybody loved him. And and so he had no problem doing it because he'd done it before. Now I'd be interested to see what his reaction was the first time he did it, because
you go where
I was shocked. Yeah, I know. He's like, and Pete, we'd be out in the middle of Utah heading up to a cache, and people on the side of the road, like, farmers and stuff, they would look at this coach bus going out in the middle of nowhere, and they would stop. I mean, the bus would get stopped all the time.
You're lost, obviously, because no buses come out here.
Exactly. We are lost. So that was pretty funny. Pretty funny getting stopped. Like, you're in the wrong area, or so.
See, Michelle wants to know, is Dave the bus driver a cashier now?
I don't think so. I don't think so, because he didn't
get the chance to find any. He had to stay with the bus.
Pretty much, yeah, because he would stay with the bus. That's when he would get his naps in. So he'd stay at the bus. Wait.
That's a good time, not while you're driving.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, and there, when we were down in Nevada, we stayed at a couple casinos too. They were the
money.
Yeah, exactly. It was a good time. It was a good time for Dave.
Seebeck Tribe wants to know, what kind of cost would we be expecting?
That's a good question, because I did not have, my airfare was much cheaper. So we're talking the Pacific Northwest 10-day trip. So I'd say, I don't know exactly. I'd have to look.
Well, what do you happen to know what the cost of the bus itself was? I mean, as far as your portion.
Yeah, I would guess my portion would have been like $1,000 for the 10 days, and that would include you were in charge of your own food, and so that essentially covered the bus, and it covered your hotel room.
Okay,
I would guess, and the hotel rooms, they tried to do it affordable, so it wasn't. Right. It wasn't.
You're not staying at the 5-star hotels.
No, and it wasn't even like Holiday Inn Express. Maybe it was like a tier lower than Holiday Inn Express, so maybe more like Quality Inn, Days Inn type of places. But
yeah.
Again, we're literally sleeping there for a very short time, and then we're moving on. It's not, the priority is not let's lounge at the hotel. It was like, let's just have a place to sleep and then move on.
Yeah, you're not even doing your laundry there. You just,
right.
Throw yourself in the shower, take a little bit of a nap and get right back out there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sorry to talk over you. Yeah. Did you find that the cashiers would still gather in the lobby?
Oh, yeah.
Talk and work out any of the puzzle caches or any of the details they missed in the day?
So this was a really cool thing about it. At every single stop, like in the evening, one of the people on the bus had an official geocaching event. So every day we would have an event. Every
day you were guaranteed at least one smile.
Yeah, every day. Yeah, we would come together, and some places.
Even Dave the bus driver could have gotten one smiley a day.
Of course he could have, but he didn't show up for those, I don't think. But so they were hosted by the people on the trip. Some days it was just us. We were in the middle of nowhere. And I think our biggest event, we stopped in Salt Lake City, and I think we had a good 20 other people in addition to ours. So it ended up being like 50 some people. So that was probably the highest turnout, and the lowest turnout was just us in somewhere Oregon.
37 people is a good event.
I know, right? For sure. Guaranteed. Yeah. When I did the trip to Brazil, we had an event in each country too. So we visited Paraguay for like 4 hours and went over there and had an event in Paraguay, and we were in Argentina one day. So hosted again by the people on the trip, and we were very excited when somebody else would show up at us.
Nice.
Yeah.
Josh, I like you.
Mm-hmm.
I consider you a friend, but you're getting roasted in the chat about you actually doing laundry.
Oh.
So I just have to say that, and then we're done. Okay. Yeah.
I don't need to do laundry because I just get new T-shirts every day. Look at this shirt. Ooh. Again, you audio listeners are missing out right now. This incredible geocaching T-shirt. Isn't this a cool design?
It's black with white lines.
Yeah, that's it.
Amazing.
Black with white lines. That's it. That's a Scott Burks original right there.
Well, and given how cold it is out by you right now, I'm expecting that's a very cold shirt.
Yeah, it is pretty cold. You can't wear it out there, but hopefully we'll get some warm weather caching. Sometimes for work they send me down to Arizona, so I might be down in that neck of woods in the next couple months. So I don't mind at all, considering that it's this morning in Minnesota it was 8 below zero. And that's Fahrenheit. See my shell. That's
almost the same at Celsius when you get to that point.
I suppose that's probably true. That's probably true.
You're still a little away from matching up, but
yeah,
you don't want to hit that temperature again.
No.
You guys were there, and I think even a little lower last year.
Oh my gosh, the polar vortex was something horrible last year. I was stuck in Milwaukee, Wisconsin for work. It was so cold that the window unit, that the heating window unit completely froze up in the whole hotel, and it was freezing. It was I haven't felt temperatures that cold in my life.
Wow.
It was really
that's saying something considering where you live.
I know, exactly. Exactly. And I ask myself all the time, why do I live here?
Yeah. Right now we're getting all the cold weather coming down from Canada, and we're like, no, Canada, you keep that.
No kidding. No kidding. So I'm ready to hit the road, guys. I'm ready to hit the road.
Woohoo!
But this time not on a bus with a bunch of Germans.
Yeah, I don't know what I'll do that again. It was really cool. I made some lifelong friends. You spend that much time with people.
Oh yeah.
10 days, you get pretty close. I was feeling a little emotional when I had to leave because they were some really cool, fun people.
Yeah.
Now, is that why you've gone to Germany twice since?
No, Dan,
going there anyway.
No, I was going to go there anyway.
Okay.
Daniel wanted me to come back because I had more geocaches than I had to find of his.
That's a real shame.
Yeah, I know. It's tough. It's tough.
But the problem is when you go down to like Arizona, you've got to plan your own caching trips.
This is true. Although I just found out that Mesa, Arizona has a brand new geo tour. So that's one of the things that speaking of road caching, and planning, I love geo tours because the planning's already done for you. You can just really focus on that and have that as your goal. So yeah, I'm kind of interested in checking out that new geo tour down there.
Yeah, the trouble with that is the one more cache-itis as you drive past all those other caches.
Yeah.
That's why you use the official geocaching app and just focus on
on a list.
So yes, just focus on the list. So you're not even looking at that.
Yeah.
Because I will get distracted, and that's the problem. You get distracted, then you don't end up completing it. However,
that's why I do that with Cachly as well. As I just download the list so that I don't see all those other ones.
Right, because you think about the donut trail, which I know you've done.
Mm-hmm.
You've done. It's like you can't do that in one day if you're distracted by other things. You got to get that done. But this Mesa Geo Tour is only 10 caches, which is kind of It's just nice. It's I kind of like those manageable ones. The real big ones is kind of like my sense of completion. That satisfaction with checking off all the boxes is not satisfied, and then you don't get the souvenirs. So I like these shorter geo tours.
Oh, I agree. If it's longer than a day worth,
yeah,
chances are I'm not going to have time to finish them.
Right.
So that's my preference, is something I can do in a day.
Right. Yeah, a good long day.
Yeah.
Well,
I might have to still break it up into 2 days. Do like half on the Saturday, half on a Sunday. Just so long as I can take some travel time and not have a problem with it. But it's got to be like weekend.
Yeah,
size.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough to do these. Is Michigan? You guys have. Is it official Geo Tour?
Yeah, the Centennial Geo Tour. That one is killer because it's 100 caches throughout the lower and upper peninsula.
Yeah,
and I want to say it's 25 in each of the 4 regions. So I still haven't even finished the southeast, which is where I live.
Well, that's incredible. It's just, the only tough thing with those is that you want to just make sure that the Geo Tours still exist long enough for you to find them all.
Yeah.
So because they have, I know whoever's funding those has to renew those every year. So it's just like when they're that big, you're like, okay, are you committed to having it for 4 or 5 years? Because that's how long it's going to take for most people to finish those things.
Well, and in this case, it's a 3-year program. They've come out and said that right off, and I think they paid for the whole thing up front.
Yeah,
but it's a 3-year program, done deal.
Yeah, that's doable, but still, that's a lot of caching, a lot of traveling too, a lot of road caching.
Very much so. And some of them are really good caches.
Yeah.
It's some of them are almost park and grabs, but most of them you're going to be looking at a better hike again.
Yeah.
Nothing like a 4-hour hike, but certainly not one you can do a whole bunch.
Yes. But yeah, I'll have to, I have my eye on it to get out there and maybe hit one of those areas soon. So, because I've heard good things.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you do happen to make it out there, let me know and maybe I'll join you, because there's a whole bunch of them on the west side of the state there that I haven't hit yet.
There we go. That'd be great. We haven't cached together in a long time.
It has been a long time.
The funny thing is, the first time I went caching with you was with Shorty Knits when she just began dating Scott.
Yes.
That was a long time ago.
Yes. And her son was so short back then.
I know. Yeah, I have video proof. Yeah, I have video of that day. So
yeah,
that was a good day.
That was a good one. Yeah, so, and I'm anxious for this year too, because this year sounds like it's going to be an epic Midwest Geo Bash.
How are we going to do all the things, guys? How are we going to?
We can't do all the things. That's the problem.
I know.
There's so many awesome, especially this year with the 20th. There's so many amazing events.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty incredible. It's going to be there's going to be a lot of FOMO happening for a lot of people.
Yes,
but that's okay. We'll get to what we can.
All right, why don't we wrap it up though, because we are almost at an hour. And before we do that, we have to let you tell everyone where they can find you on. Well, everyone knows on YouTube, but let us know where we can find you.
Well, the easiest way to find me is just geocachingvlogger.com. That'll take you directly to my YouTube channel. And also on Facebook, I post stuff directly there. So you can just search The Geocaching Vlogger on Facebook. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Always a pleasure. And check the Cache-A-Maniacs website at cacheamaniacs.com for more on the Geo Gearheads, including show notes for this and all of our episodes. We love hearing from our listeners, so leave us feedback by emailing geogearheads@cacheamaniacs.com or through social media. Your support helps keep the Cache-A-Maniacs shows coming. Please consider becoming a patron through the link on our website to support the Cache-A-Maniacs shows. Geo Gearheads is produced by Chris Suffenauer and Daryl Wanberg. The show is copyright 2020 by Daryl Wanberg. All rights reserved.
Cache with a Cache-A-Maniac.